Thank you very much, spokesperson of the ANC. You will see that we come to you now in full force in relation to the matter at hand of the VAT increase. Comrade Mdu is heading our parliament. Comrade Mdu is heading our parliamentary processes, but is also part of the ANC on this particular matter of the budget. Those are the faces you will be dealing with, and the others which will be deployed from time to time by the spokesperson and the chief spokesperson, which is myself as the Secretary General on this particular matter. So these are the guys you'll be looking for in relation to this matter. But it is important that we start from reminding you that what the ANC voted for in relation to the fiscal framework, together with other political parties. First, the fiscal framework was tabled by the Minister of Finance, and it was supported, subject to the strict condition that National Treasury facilitates the receipt of substitute revenue proposals from the committee, together with the corresponding expenditure savings that will form the basis of an alternative revenue instead of one, the proposed 0.5% point increase in value-added tax for 2025-2026 financial year, effective from the 1st of May 2025 in respect of 2026 financial year, effective from the 1st of May 2025, which we relate to here that serious concerns were raised. And the failure to adjust personal income tax brackets in line with the higher of the actual CPI inflation rate for 2024, or the projected CPI inflation rate for 2025 to prevent bracket creep, be finalized and submitted by the committee to process within 30 days for consideration and adoption of this report by the House. So that is why the question of the court was rendered moot the day the minister came back within the period of 30 days, responding to the submission of political parties and having undergone this particular process and made a period of 30 days responding to the submission of political parties and having up for a loss because the minister wouldn't have taken the 10 years taken if there was no court case. This is what was voted for in terms of the budget framework in Parliament. And that is why Action SA, BUSA, and others kept on harping on the question that the budget will not increase beyond the 1st of May. And that is the question that was voted for and answered in Parliament when the budget framework was actually introduced. So this is not fudged or made up. It is in the order paper of Parliament. Now, it is easy for us to forget these things and simply say that the victory belongs to others. And the question before us as the ANC has not been the question of what belongs to us in terms of victory, was what the situation we're dealing with. And we're very happy to engage the media and many other people around that particular question as the African National Congress today. The ANC, therefore, welcomes the formal withdrawal of the proposed VAT increase by the Minister of Finance and setting aside of the 2025 fiscal framework. This outcome is not a legal victory for any party, but a decisive political resolution rooted in consultation, maturity, and the guiding principles of the Freedom Charter, quote unquote, the people shall govern. The ANC remains steadfast in asserting that the work of government must be shaped not by courtrooms and media spectacle, but through democratic consultation, constructive consensus building, and revolutionary responsibility to the people. The political decision to reverse the VAT increase was reached after substantive engagement between the ANC and 10 other parties in parliament, all of whom demonstrated discipline, focus, and patriotic clarity. This includes the Inkatha Freedom Party, Action SA Pan-Africanist Congress, Rise Mzansi, Build One South Africa, United Democratic Movement, Al Jama Patriotic Alliance, Good Party, and the National Coloured Congress. We salute the collective maturity shown in reaching this outcome, a moment that affirmed that political differences need not paralyze governance, and that principle to cooperation in the national interest is not only possible but necessary. We note that the Minister of Finance has communicated a new process to adopt the revised fiscal framework that will now be tabled on the 21st May 2025. We call on government to ensure that we have a rubble while ensuring the budget remains a tool for inclusive growth, job creation, and economic reconstruction. Many things were good about the budget, and we still believe it's a good budget. Now that VAT increase is off the way, we need to get down to those issues that were good in terms of the budget. It has to be a people's budget that retreat into austerity, nor sacrifice long-term transformation at the altar of technical compliance. Instead, it must be a budget that balances pro-growth policy with pro-poor spending, rooted in the developmental ethos of the Freedom Charter and the democratic values of the Constitution. That has been the main issue with regard to this budget, Working National Congress. That the social spending and the austerity measures, we need to move away from that. The ANC will continue with its work to engage other political parties within the GNU as provides the fiscal framework. Our goal is to sustain the work that we started after the initial fiscal framework was tabled in Parliament and build consensus around a progressive medium-term fiscal strategy that takes out the austerity cycle into a comprehensive growth agenda. Among the key features that must be included in the revised fiscal framework are a sustained strategic shift in fiscal allocation to be biased more towards economic classifications, especially measures that will kickstart growth, that creates momentum for increased entrepreneurial activity and massive employment across the economy. Transport infrastructure, increased investment in road, rail and commuter infrastructure to unlock regional trade, reduce the cost of movement for working people, improve freight logistics by lowering costs and improving predictability of goods movement, and stimulate local economies through public investment initiatives. Zero-rated goods expansion. We still maintain that. Additional food items have been added to the VAT free basket to reduce food insecurity and ensure direct relief for poor households. Water infrastructure and dam projects. Strategic investment to boost long-term water security, particularly in drought-prone areas, ensuring both household access and agriculture viability. Healthcare funding, the employment of 9,300 health workers and 800 post-community service doctors across provinces. On basic education and teacher retention, ensure that funding is ring-fenced to retain teachers in classrooms, especially in rural and township schools, ensuring continuity in learning and the safeguarding of education gains. Continuity in learning and the safeguarding of education gains. Early childhood development, expanded allocations for early learning infrastructure, nutrition, and educator support to strengthen the foundation phase. Post-school education, the social relief of distress, SRD, grant, currently reaching more than 8.5 million people. This is a strategic step towards the long-term vision of implementing a basic income grant. The VAT reversal and the setting aside of the 2025 fiscal framework were formalized through an out-of-court settlement, endorsed as a court order by the Cape High Court on the 27th April 2025. This gave legal effect to a political consensus and ensured that the VAT increase will not automatically come into force on the 1st of May 2025. We welcome that Parliament did not concede to any procedural defects and further note that its processes were in full compliance with the Constitution and the Money Bills and Related Matters Act. However, in light of the Finance Minister's withdrawal of the Division of Revenue and Appropriation Bills and the submission of new revenue proposals, it has become necessary to legally clear the path for tabling a new budget. The Minister will now table the revised budget on the 21st May 2025, and Parliament will adjust its program to ensure full compliance and legislative timelines, finalizing the budget before the end of July 2025. Once again, the ANC has led society through a difficult moment to populist noise. We did not collapse under pressure. We listened to the people, engaged the opposition, and acted in unity with others, and not claim easy victories, to ensure that this budget remains transformative, redistributive, and growth-focused. We will not allow the National Democratic Revolution to be undermined through backdoor austerity, nor will we allow the legacy of the liberation movement to be diluted through short-term compromises. The Freedom Charter remains our lodestar, and this budget reflects that. Let the message be clear. The ANC governs for the people, with the people, and in service of the people. The revised fiscal framework should be a progressive tool that will deliver jobs, strengthen public services, and uplift the poor. As the nation prepares to celebrate Workers' Day tomorrow, the ANC will continue to defend the hard-won labor rights that generations of workers have fought for. We call on our people to join the Workers' Day rallies organized by COSATU throughout the country and other unions, and to recommit to the principles of dignity, equity, and justice in the workplace. Our steadfast rejection of the DA's attempt to use the VAT increase as a political extortion underscores this commitment. Behind the scenes, the DA was not only bargaining for budget concessions, they were pushing for a new labor regime that will allow employers to dismiss workers without due process, dismantle affirmative action, and roll back transformation. We will not relent in defending the progressive league. Never allow the working class to become collateral damage in budget negotiations. Instead, the ANC will continue to champion a growing, inclusive economy that brings more South Africans, especially young people, women, and rural communities, into the labor force with dignity and security. The DA's court challenge against the Employment Equity Act. It is not only a legal maneuver, it is a calculated political stunt launched on the eve of Workers' Day, aimed at reversing 3 decades of democratic gains. Opposed to VAT increase because they are defending the poor. The next day they wake up, they are in court, and what are they doing in court? They are attacking employment equity. What is employment equity? And who benefit out of employment equity? And why would you challenge it and want it to be reversed? It is these workers. It is the rights of the dispossessed over the years that we fought for and that we will defend. We will defend these rights even through the government of national unity, as we do today. And we will do that even tomorrow when we celebrate the Workers' Day. This is part of a broader pattern. As we warned ahead of 2024 elections, the DA has consistently opposed transformative legislation. The Bella Act, the NHI Act, the Expropriation Bill, and now the Employment Equity Amendment Act. Just on the eve of Workers' Day, they are in court, all of which seek to restructure power, ownership, and access in our society. The DA's hatred for transformation has become shameless. In the Western Cape, under the DA leadership, employers are advised not to comply with equity legislation. And South Africans are told not to expect preference in employment. An illegal and immoral policy that betrays the principles of common citizenship and constitutional redress. This is made worse by the DA-aligned campaigns of Solidarity and AfriForum, who tore foreign capitals like the United States to spread lies about the ANC lynching minorities, prisoners, distortions that insult the spirit of unity and undermine our democratic sovereignty. And thanks to South Africans, black and white, who have come to the fore, dispelled and dismissed these lies, not only here in South Africa, even in the United States soil and in the corridors of the White House. We have done that as the ANC too, talking to people across, even in the United States, about these distortions about our country. Let us be clear, the Employment Equity Act is not an attack on anyone. It is a constitutional imperative. Its recent amendments achieved through NEDLAC consensus ensure sectoral targets that reflect regional realities, support SMMEs, and hold employers accountable in state contracts. These reforms are modest, are rational, and necessary. The Freedom Charter foresaw this moment. In Clause 7, it proclaimed, "There shall be work and security." That clause called for equal pay, the right to organize, maternity leave, a national minimum wage, and protection against exploitation. It demanded the abolition of a national minimum wage, and protection against exploitation. It demanded the abolition of child labor, compound labor, and the TOT system. TOT system. So as domestic workers, teachers and nurses, the ANC reaffirms all shall share in the country's wealth. The ANC congratulates the ANC-led government and the Department of Transport for a successful Easter Road safety campaign. I saw somebody disputing this even when they were presented with facts. The country is changing for the better. People are not used to good things. The carnage on the road is being reduced, and many good things are happening in our country, not horrible. Many good things are happening in our country, and things are happening. You look at the electricity. We're overcoming the difficult struggles that we've been waging against difficult, stagnant, and stubborn challenges that we've faced over the years. And one of them is this road carnage on our roads. This is a moment of both celebration and reflection. And it's not for the ANC, it's for South Africans to recognize that the call is sinking. It means me and you who are on the road, who are believing in the message. How many years after Arrive Alive was launched, that today, without a holiday, without COVID, only in COVID, I was a minister, we celebrated the reduction of road carnage because not so many people were on the road. Today, people went to Moria. They went to different parts of the country, traveling to the beaches, and they drove in our roads. And yet we register the highest number of reduction of road fatalities. And that tells a story that me and you and our people who are very much part of this particular campaign and the center of it, the message is sinking. A recognition that effective government action combined with public cooperation can save lives and promote a culture of responsibility. Working together, we can do more. At the same time, we extend our heartfelt condolences to families who lost loved ones during this period. Your loss is our collective pain. We remain committed to strengthening road safety campaigns throughout the year to ensure fewer families face this sorrow. The struggle continues. And through this people's budget, we deepen the path to a more just, united, and prosperous South Africa. I thank you.